Hi, everybody. Hashtag Crazy Cat. I'm actually in Miami today at my brother's house with his kids, but super excited to talk about this quote. I'm sure you guys have probably seen all of the super creative posts on hashtag dancing. I was blown away by the creativity this week. It was so much fun. So the quote is by Friedrich Nietzsche, and and those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. I love this quote. So, Coach Kebie, tell us what you think about when you hear this quote.
Yes, thank you, Kat. So for me, I think about when I tried to start my business, especially brand new, and trying to have success in that area of life. I was talking about it, but people thought I was insane. So I had to learn the skill of overcome because they just didn't hear it at the time. Their ears would not hear the message I had. So it was super frustrating at first because I was passionate and I was excited and I knew what I had and I knew it worked and I knew it would help that person. And I'm dancing about it, right? I'm hashtag dancing about it, but they're looking at me like I have three heads because they didn't hear me and they just weren't at the point in their life to hear me. Not that they're bad people. I know now that it's not because people don't join me or do what I do that they're insane or I'm insane. It's just the deaf ear and they're not ready to hear what I have. And that could be reversed. I may not be ready to hear what somebody else has to speak as well. So I think this quote for me is so that I work on truly listening to other people and not looking at them like they're insane if I can't hear the music. So I want to open my ears and be able to hear the music. So back to you, Kat. Actually, I want to know what you think about the quote this week, and then I'll start the interview. And thank you so much.
Oh, of course. I love this quote because for most of my life, I was always worried about what other people thought. And I was so frozen in fear. And I could hear the music and I wanted to dance, but I was like, they're going to think I'm weird. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be weird. Now I'm like, you know what? If I'm approaching people with love and kindness and I'm just sprinkling all kinds of love and kindness with them, I could be dancing around and it's totally fine. And I feel happy because I've loved on other people. And I worry less now about what they think about me because who cares? Honestly, if they can't hear the music, right, they need a little love anyway so they can get out of their own way and start dancing too. It's much more fun. So
Yeah,
back.
I love that. Yeah, and I love what you're saying there that you were actually held back, worried about what they would think. So for me, I knew what they would say because I got that rejection. But yeah, that's so good and so true. Thank you, Kat, for sharing. Okay, Bethenny, what did this quote mean to you?
This quote to me means quite a few things, but one in particular, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off of hashtag Crazy Cat. And I used to always be so scared to, even though I wanted to so bad just to get out and hashtag dance, right? But I was so worried about what everyone else thought of me, and that maybe I wasn't, talented enough, or maybe I didn't have enough rhythm, or maybe I didn't have, you know, maybe I wasn't, dancing quite like the other person. And I think that this just goes to show that no matter what, we are all so different and so uniquely beautiful that we have to hashtag dance anytime that we're able to get the chance, because we're all so uniquely created. And that's what makes this world so beautiful. And so it means so much to me, but that's one of the things is don't never let your light dull, or don't dull your light. Let it shine, because somebody might need exactly what you have to give them.
Thank you so much for sharing, Bethenny. Okay, Lenore, you're up. What did this quote mean to you?
For me, this quote, it was kind of twofold. And first, as far as I've always felt to be a little different from most. And but in being involved in the industry of relationship marketing, it's a different animal, and the average person does not understand it. So when you're speaking with someone, they don't understand. So for me, it's like I've had to learn skill set not to allow people to put my fire out about it. So just to keep dancing, just to keep being excited about it. And then the other part that struck me this week was when you're going through some things, because I was going through some things this week. So when you're going through some things, even at that, not allowing your personal situation, you have to dance through that too and keep it moving the best that you can. So people may look at you like you're crazy, but you have to be responsible for yourself and not be concerned about really what others think about you. Because what I learned years ago, and I have to keep reminding myself, what other people think about me is none of my business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just have to be about, first of all, the Father's business and be about Lenore's business. So that's what I got from it this week. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Lenore. Carmen, let's go to you. What did you think about the quote?
You know, I reflected actually today, as in watching a parade. You know how you've got all the people standing on the sidelines and they're not on the front of the crowd. They want to be in the middle of the crowd or the back of the crowd so they're not seen. And it kind of reminds me of a fear-based, to be scared, to be on the parade float, dancing and waving at everybody and smiling at everybody and being up front and present, and to be dancing along the parade and shaking everybody's hand and being out there and being open, and everybody else is so stuck in the audience as the parade goes by.
So good. Wow. Really deep, Carmen. Okay, Noel, next. What did you think of the quote? Yeah.
Well, I loved it. I really loved it. As a child, I was a dancer, and on through, my teenage years, where I danced formally in classes and on teams and things like that. But it's never stopped for me. I still love to dance. And when Lenore was speaking, I thought of the Seal song, "We're never going to survive unless we get a little crazy." So I think sometimes, it's important to remember that, to just let ourselves be a little bit crazy and allow that in other people. And I was telling Lenore this week about, I almost got kicked out of a Whitney Houston concert because I was dancing on my chair. But hello, she has songs like "I Want to Dance with Somebody." I mean, how would you not want to get out of your chair and dance? And I'm like that at all shows I go to. I can never understand why people are standing still. Now, maybe somebody mentioned rhythm. Maybe they feel embarrassed about that, but I just say go for it. So I think that music and dance keep us childlike, and I think that that's what's important. Now, how does that apply to business as adults? So I found this quote, and I really have been pondering on it, and I like it. It's actually, there's a kind of a statue or an art installation that somebody put together at Burning Man. But it's basically two adults with their backs turned to each other with two children inside reaching towards each other. And it says, "Age has many beautiful gifts, but one we could live without is pride and the pride and resentment we hold on to when we have conflicts with others. The forgiving, free spirit of children is our true nature. Remember this when you feel stubborn." So I think that can happen when we come into conflict with people. As adults, we blow it off, turn our back on them. But if we keep that childlike nature and look at other people and see their childlike nature, then we can build and foster greater relationships. And that's really what this business is all about, is relationships.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Noel. Okay, Dawn, you're next. What did you like about the quote?
Okay, I thought, I'm a quote person, and I really did like this quote. So the very first thing when I heard this quote that struck me as, why be normal? Why be ordinary? Let your sparkle shine, and add a little bit of sparkle in your life. And how I applied this and what I thought about is, growing up, I was always the new kid on the block or the different child because I thought about things differently. So I didn't always fit in, if you will. So, I just adopted why be normal. And in business, I also interpret this as be outside your comfort zone, do things differently, think of different ways and solutions to do something better, quicker, or just, your own way, my way, even when people don't understand. We may just every now and then strike success and do something or come up with a really great idea that nobody thought of. And I can relate this throughout my career. Another thing that I thought of too is, and this is so me, like Noel was saying about being childlike, I beat to my own drum. I beat to a different tune. I might not necessarily say the right words to a song, but that's okay. I beat to my own drum. And with that said, I also seek to understand other people. So I like what I think Kebie, you said, turning it around and listening to other folks and what are they thinking, especially when we don't understand. Seek to understand them. So #dance, value the differences in everyone, specifically where we don't understand. So that's kind of some of the things that struck me with that. Back to you, Kebie.
Thank you, Dawn, for sharing. Okay, so we will now wrap it up with Miss Karen. Karen, I will unmute you and you can share what this quote means to you.
Hi there. One of my favorite quotes is dance like no one is watching. I too, like Noel, was a dancer until I was about 18, 19 years old. So dancing is just very important to me. And relating that to business, I think if you just jump out there and act like no one's watching and don't be afraid if people are watching, it's the same feeling that you get when you go out on a dance floor the first time and you're afraid that everybody's watching you, and really they're not. But my feeling is that in business, there are people that are going to think you're crazy, but the more you dance and the more you show that you're dancing, people begin to feel the music with you, and they start coming along with you. So that's kind of what that meant to me this week.
So true, and I'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for sharing. I will wrap up with, there's a video that I will share in addition to the YouTube link that went out about a guy who starts dancing. He's the only one, and the story goes that he continues to dance, and like you said, Karen, people will eventually follow and they will come along when it's the right time for them. Another thing I'd like to share is I had so much fun doing the #dancing this week because I don't dance much. Actually, I used to dance when I was younger, but just to dance somewhere out in public, I had a little bit of a fear and apprehension. So with this week, everywhere I went, even out in public, I would dance. And by the 5th day, I could have cared less. I was just dancing. And even though people were kind of looking at me funny, didn't care because I knew that's their own embarrassment. That's their own problems, not mine. So last night I met my sister. We went out to eat and I said, come here and do a video with me. We're going to dance. She's like, right here? I said, right here, girl. We both started dancing and we did not care who was watching or looking. And guess what? Nobody was. Nobody cares. People care about their own problems, right? And they're worried about their own fears and their own issues. But we constantly dwell on who's watching, who's looking, what are they thinking, and we just need to not worry about it and have fun. So I got this t-shirt, and I want to share it in honor of this week because I did a lot of dancing today in it. I absolutely love it, and I'm going to kind of stand up and show you. I hope it's not backwards. But Denise Jones sent me this as a gift. And what a cool So I've been doing boomerangs and dancing in this t-shirt. I've had an absolute amazing time. And the other thing is that I overcome that worry of what people thought of me in public dancing. Even though I embarrassed my husband, he's like, what are you doing? Like, you're 42 and you're sitting here dancing right here. But I had so much fun, you know, and again, my husband saying that, that's his own fear. We've got to understand that when people project their fears onto you, it's their fears. It's not real. It's not ours. It's their own. So, but anyway, by the end of the night, I had everybody dancing, including my husband. So we did videos and we hashtagged the dancing, and I just had a absolute fun time with this quote this week in this hashtag. So everybody be tuned for next week. I think the next one is hashtag worth. So be tuned. We'll see you guys on the next one.